This is a guitar that I find from time to time is quite interesting. It's not worth 10 or 20 quid, but it has a history. Don't know the whole history, but I've been to that shop, Merchant Street in Malta. It used to be P. Carabot's shop, and this guitar was sold in that shop because that's a metal thing stuck on the top. And it was well known in Valletta in Malta for years. It's now closed. But this guitar came from Catania in Italy, and it's called an Estudiantina. Estudiantina.
Estudiantina. Estudiantina.
I'll put some things up on the wall. The label is pretty well, what do you call it, faded. I have copies of the way it should look. I'll post them up. But I find this guitar interesting because it's very, very unusual. Made in Catania, and I have a picture of the street it was made in. It's no longer there. The guitar has a lot of little bits of damage, a lot of cracks. Don't know what's inside yet, but we're going to have a little look inside. The frets are in poor condition and those strings are going to have to come off. The frets are, come on, get in focus. Why are you not in focus? We're going to have to get those frets looked at because they're very thin and very fine. And overall the guitar, it's not going into focus. All right, I'm going to stop. Starting over again here because it's not going into focus. Now you would think that that's a label stuck on the top, but it's not. This is embedded into the bodywork. So the gentleman who made this way back, I would say 1970s, has cut out a very shallow part of the bodywork and set this label inside that. So it's not sitting on top, it's sitting perfectly flush with the guitar. And that's the style he's used on a lot of guitars. How he did that, I don't know. But it's a very interesting guitar. I'm very keen to see the inside. But it's had a little bit of bash over the years, but nothing what I would call terminal. This patchwork of paint is fairly common. I've seen another guitar like this. There's very few of these guitars around, but I've seen a guitar like this and it had exactly the same wear and tear. So maybe the manufacturer, which I don't know the name of the guy who made it, but he made it by hand in Catania. And it doesn't have what you would call the end of the world damage to it. It has some cracks here and there. And I'll just look at the other side. Bits of cracks here and the body cracks, but as I say, nothing, another little crack there, but nothing the end of the world. Like, the problem too is up here, because those are afterthoughts. I don't know what was there beforehand, but they're too big and they're the wrong type. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look inside this, and I'll try to discover more of the history as I go along of it. It's a cute guitar. I would say it's a 3/4 size folk guitar, and I would bet you this has come the whole way from Catania in Italy to Malta, and then from Malta to Northern Ireland. I would love to know what the story of it behind is. But in Malta they have a certain type of music which is like storytelling, folk. I'll try to find a clip or two of people doing it, but they sing a song and the chords are very basic, but they tell a story, make up the story as they go along.
amor koreana when the sea will take away. Akka porcina per era il veterano a sentire. Che pronto per rispondere a signore Sacomante. Ieri ha trovato in via dei cambiati tutta gente. Guarda che bell'uomo a che dai a piegare. La 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 la. La 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 la. Io hade gjort och fare var om homsa bil majar. Nej men käkos nej safari var asso gå maskal. Många hade sökt inte homsa bil svejla kansar. Att jag blir så morro och salil hela dagen. Alla skulle sluta bara genom utdelar med sig. ساعة واحدة بشت تعليل حسبتي حظي لا 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 يتفاجئ فوقسبالية أجل جوشنا باللشك أشينا فايلا بستيا ويا وارفو من أولك وأكلي كنا أجل نمشو بشمبوسا ينا بستان رات اللقطة الإفقة إبرزة أو لا أبستا إينا بقى تتكلم وحدي عد جوش الرجراتيان مالك تستسلح مخدر ظهران الجانرا لا 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 La 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 la.
Okay, let's have a look inside after I take the strings off. It's the Estudiantina. I'm fascinated by languages because the Italian, very like the Spanish. Fabbrica Italiana, Chitare, Chicare, C-H-I-T-A-R-E. The C-H is pronounced like Chianti, so it's Chitare. And so I can imagine how guitar came from the Latin Chitare. And it was made in Catania. It was made in Via Nino Martolio. And I have a picture of the area where it's in. Now, Estudiantina is the dictionary. Oh dear, what's happened? They've done it the wrong way. Right, okay. Right, I'll just take these off. The dictionary tells us that Estudiantinas are students and they dress up in traditional university uniforms and they roam the streets playing a variety of instruments, either for fun or for money. And they're all around the world, in Cuba, Oriental as well, and in Italy, and in Malta. So it comes from that sort of base. And did you happen to notice the bridge? Just happens to be half a closed peg. Well, it's going. So what we really want to do is get inside, don't we? That's what you really want to do, isn't it? You want to get inside. You do. This is going to have to come off and get cleaned because it's ugly looking. Estudiantina. I have to speak to my ex, who's a fluent in Italian, and ask her to pronounce that for me properly. Because the vowels are pronounced differently, so it could be Estudiantina or it could be Estudiantina, But anyway, inside we go. Let's have a look and see it. Put some lights on, and we'll take our camera in. And we'll have a look at the back first, and then we'll have a look at the front when I move my light. So here we go. And the light didn't come on. Did it? Did it come on? No, it didn't. Now the lights come on. Right, so what do we see back there? It looks really dirty, doesn't it? Oh, it's a few years old. I'd have to take a guess at the age of this guitar. Let me just check the struts, the top struts first. Because the body seems sunken in, I'm going to press it down. No, it's not solid. Let me just look this side too and press it in at the same time. No, no cracking there. And I have to get my nut round here. All handmade. And that's my light. Now I'm going to change over. I'll go back the other way to see what we've got. A lot of dirt. What's that white thing up there? What have I done? Oh, right, okay. That's half right, okay. Why is... Oh, for goodness sake, what are you doing, Austin? There's a little bit of whites, and then the body. Obviously no... Well, I don't see any faults for the inside that's like strut damage. Anything like that there. So the cracks in the body are more... That was poor. The cracks in the body are more struck, they're more physical looking, what do you call it, cosmetic than they are problematic. I'm just going to look at them more closely now just to be sure. Especially this one above. But it's such a small round hole that every time I go in it knocks itself off. Right, there's that crack right down the center line. And let's have a look right at the back there too, again. It looks like rosewood or mahogany edging and ash top and bottom. But it's hard to tell what the bottom is. Okay. I don't think that was very informative, but it was interesting. Oh look, one of the strings ended up on the shelf. Okay. Now, let's look at the neck to see how straight it is. I'm not hopeful, but I'm hopeful. It has an underbow. It has an underbow of about 20 thou. Which will be okay for this guitar. You know why it's going to be okay for this guitar? Because nobody's going to play this guitar. This is going to be like a souvenir thing or a wall hanger. But it's more of a sentimental, I would say, because I think I'll probably give this to my ex. Yes, it's 20 thou exactly. I'm not as stupid as I look, you know. It's because this is Malta. And a lot of memories. She's from Malta. I spent many years in Malta, having brilliant summers, and so that's the reason why I bought it from the auction. But I also fascinated by the type of guitar it is. Those are going to be hell to take off. So I'll just check the body. Let me just check the body. My goodness, straight. A little bit of a concave in there. Now I bought these things here especially for this, because you know the way those cracks are there and there. You put that inside it and then you turn it and it presses up against the cracks, and so you can put a clamp on the top and this presses up on the inside. But there's one little problem with this guitar. So I'm going to have to go back to using my Spanish style prop poles. You know, where you put a pole in there and you force it up against it, and then yeah, that type of thing. Even if I do that. So let's check the leveling, fret leveling. So it sort of seems unfair to check the fret leveling, because It's not going to be great, is it? Those frets are pretty worn, but they'll do. And I can't find any problem with frets. The leveling's pretty good. There, as you'd expect. Right on the body. Right, so that one needs to be brought down. So, it's mostly cleaning. Take the strings off, take those tuners off. They'll do some other guitar, and I'll find a pair. I'll find a pair for this. But I'll take the strings off and come back to you. I'm in so many minds about this guitar. It's a guitar that I like, but it's not a guitar that everybody would like. I actually think probably very few people would like it, but it's got something to it that I like. But it's also got things that I don't like. Now that crack up there, we've checked the inside's fine, but that crack is part of the grain of the wood, which is cracking there, 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 and there. Now I can't reach that crack. Normally what I'd do is put in a pole and all that sort of thing, and put in a little pole upright with a bit of wood pressing against it, and then you would have a little slat of wood holding it down, but I can't reach there, and I don't think I'm going to fix it. What I might do is put some wood glue in there and press it down, because wood glue's pretty good at holding things together. Press it down with a clamp, then get something in there and slather some wood glue in there and hope that that would just hold it in place. Not that optimistic about it. And the same there. But with this one I can get my hand underneath and I can put that crack in place. But I don't think it's that important, because why did you bite me? I'm talking to the guitar. You're a very spoilt little child. I'm doing what I want to do. You can't get... Anyway, what I'm going to do now is take off the back, even though Georgie girl doesn't want me to take off the back, but I'm going to take it off anyway. She hates me talking to people. She hates me talking to other people as well. She literally, if anybody comes to visit me, she sits on my chest, puts her head on my shoulder, and after about 5 minutes she starts to, I want them gone, I don't want anybody talking to you. And if I don't do as I'm told, and the person's still here 10 minutes later, I get a smack. She doesn't like me talking. She's used to a very quiet house with just me and her in it, and she's a spoilt little bitch. She never, ever, ever scratches or bites deliberately to hurt people. She just shows her protest. What do you see when I go over here and start to talk? Yeah, you little... Yes, give me your finger. She's my darling. She's my darling. These screws are so minuscule. I am going to replace them though, because they've been so worn out over the years that they're barely holding. But this is, I don't know what about this guitar that's particularly I'm fond of, but it's just something about it I like. And look at the dust and dirt there, and the lacquer's lifting a bit. So this is just a damp, water-based Huggies. And my microwave has stopped, and that's all worn in. It's actually almost pushed in, but there's not much damage to it. It's okay, but you can see what the real color used to look like. Now I'm not, as I say, I'm not going to go crazy on getting this guitar, try to restore it or anything like that there. It's just not worth it. It's really not worth any effort, but it's fairly rare. It's a guitar that's vanishing, and it needs to be kept, and I might just keep it. I don't know. I have enough folk. This I would call a folk guitar, not a classical guitar. But I might just keep it because I like the size. But it's got paint on it, which I'm going to have to take off as well. But what I will do, first of all, the first thing I'm going to do is not the body. I'm just cleaning that up. I'm going to do the neck first, because if the neck can't be made playable, then there's no point in keeping it, even trying to keep it. Oh, right, get into focus. All right, okay, so neck first. Get into focus. Nobody tells anybody what to do nowadays. Now this is going to be fussy, because these are very fine little frets. I've already checked the leveling, haven't I? I can't do anything. There's no truss rod on these guitars. No, there's no hidden truss rod on these guitars. So I think I'm just going to use my little tool to sort of smooth it out a bit on the narrowest fret. If it will do it, yeah. Is it narrow enough? Well, there's it there. That's a better one. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put some lemon oil on it, lots of lemon oil. And then, after the lemon oil is sunk in, tomorrow I'll do crimson guitar oil. Because this neck will be so dry, because it hasn't been, I'm sure, oiled in years. So, I'm going to let that sit on for maybe 10 minutes or so. It won't feel like 10 minutes to you, but let it sit on for 10 minutes and go and come back again to it. Okay, I'm not happy, because when I look closer, oh, I have my phone off. Dear, oh, I could be getting a call, an emergency call from Kylie Minogue, who wants me. Austin, I want you, and you're not answering your phone. And then when I ring her back, she'll say, it's too late, the mood's gone. And then Kylie Minogue will be all disappointed. Not that I would be disappointed for myself, of course. I'd be disappointed for her that she didn't get to sample the joys of my company. Anyway, I'm not happy, because somebody else has got this before me, and I didn't see it with the dirt. But I'll show you it on this. Somebody scraped it, and haven't scraped it very well. And there's all sorts of little scores going down it. Yeah, I think you can see it here. So the neck's going to have to be scraped. There's all sorts of little score marks there. Somebody's done it too fast, and it's gone juddery. So I'm going to have to scrape it, unfortunately. For me, anyway, the neck will be fine. Right, do you want to see this? No, I'll come back to you when I finish scraping. Okay, that's all been scraped now. Now I have to brush it away. Oh, lemon oil, lemon oil, lemon. It's mineral oil, but check your lemon oil first to make sure that it's not got any toxicants in it. Toxins, intoxicators, and anything, something to harm your hand. I know that mine doesn't, but yours could, so be careful. I'm not happy still, because my scraping, even though it was fairly deep, didn't get down deep enough to correct the scrape marks from the previous scraper. You can see them there, lines across, and I'm not, see there? This is just appearance, it doesn't affect the playing at all. Not sure what to do. I'll think about it, because I don't want to scrape down too far. I think I'm going to leave it and see what the another little coat of Georgie girl wants cuddles, I can tell. Isn't that right, Georgie girl? She's coming up to me and saying I want cuddles, but she's running around. She hasn't had any TREATS for the last hour or two. Now, if I mention, and I'm not joking, if I mention that word, she comes running and crying because she knows what that word means. And she also knows what SAUSAGE, like Frankfurters. If I said the proper British word for it, she would come running and crying. So what I'm going to do now is just give this a final dry. The body likes lemon oil, I tell you, I can tell the difference on it. Give this a final dry. Let it sit overnight, which you won't notice. And then I'll put some guitar build finishing oil on it. But I'm going to keep this guitar for myself, and it's going to stay the way it is. Okay. Tomorrow. This little girl is being a pain in the ass again today. Now, she's patting my hand here and telling me she doesn't want me to start doing guitars. What I can do, I can fix this one because I've got a clamp for it there. That'll be easy. What I do is clean that out, put some special wood glue in, and then just clamp down that side, and that will press against that. That's good enough. This is not for cosmetic. This is just to give it a bit more strength. I can fix that one. I don't need a clamp for. I clean it out and press down fairly hard. It opens it up, put some glue in, and I let go of it. It'll spring up again, and that'll just hold it. This one I can clamp down, and I can use this clamp going in the inside, and I just need to do the same. Put some glue in and clamp down one side, and it'll hold. And this one here is the same. I can clamp down, yeah, no, actually I don't even need to clamp it, but I probably will. Press down, clean it out, put some grip in and glue in, and then just clamp down one side gently. I can't do that because the sides are they're going past each other. And what I will do is I'll put a thread through there, and hopefully it'll fit through without any hassle, and I'll bring the thread out through there, put a little plaque of wood on, maybe a little bit of maple, slather it in glue and pull the thread out till it's tight, and then put a little clamp on, and that will hold the maple against the bottom, and I'll figure some way to keep the thread tight. Doesn't need an awful lot of pressure on it because it's not bad. It just needs that, so that when that's dry, that maple will be glued up against that and act as a thing, and as a strengthener for that crack and keep it flat. So that's the plan, and I'm going to put these into process now. And Georgie girl's still beating me. Why are you attacking me? Why is this hand getting so much attention? I'm talking to the people on the video. You're very nasty to me. Come get a cuddle. Maybe you need a cuddle. Come on. Yes, she needs a cuddle. I think that's what it is. Okay. Little bitch. Wasn't anything to do with being cross or needing a cuddle. It was all to do with I put some food out for her, but it was the food she doesn't like. So she was cross for me putting out the food she didn't like. So I put in some food and changed the bowl and washed the bowl out and gave her the food she liked. And now she's all happy. Little bitch. I tell you, she's spoiled. She's cross with me because I put the wrong food out for her. Well, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Okay, so that has to sit now. I'm afraid to move it, so I'm not going to move it. I'll take a break from guitars tonight and just relax. A little bit of the glue there. So there we are, happy. Put the lid on, and I only have that one to fix now, and I'll fix that whenever I get the silicone gel. Or will I? I'll prepare it ready for fixing. Anyway, just put a thread through there, pull it up. How I'm going to keep tension on it, but that's another thing. I'll learn about that. Well, almost 24 hours later, and we're going to see what results I have. Alright, there's no movement there whatsoever. I'm not going to put too much pressure on. There's no movement there whatsoever. None. You're going to have to take my word for it. And there's no movement there between the crack. So I would consider that a success. I'm going to have to prove it to you. Because you want to see, don't you? Because you don't trust me. I know you don't trust me. It just press video and hold on, stay still, stay still. No movement. And you have to take my word for it that I'm pressing. This was the worst. Right. I'm going to try to do something with that. I don't know what yet, but I still have to take away these little paint flakes, as you can see them on there. Somebody's been painting in the garage or wherever this was hung up, but they will come away with a nail. I'm going to try to, we'll see. I'll see what I can do. I'm not that, this is the next one I'm going to try to fix. So I'm going to get the thread and the wood. Before I put anything in there, I'm going to try to clean it out a bit, because it is a bit, you're not going to see anything. And press the button. So I'm going to take this outside now. Okay, let's see what that has done for cleaning. Yeah, that's pretty good. You'll get to see it whenever I post this. This is a little bit around the bottom there that look still nutty, and that lump has to come out. But overall it's less dusty than it was before, and spidery webs. Okay. Right, okay, that's it cleaned up. Now I get a bit of thread, poke it through there, and a bit of wood. Compromise, compromise, compromise. I thought I had a brilliant idea that I'd use an old E string from a guitar, feed it down through there, and use the string as the, instead of the, like that, right? Instead of, but would you believe it? I don't have an old E string. I only have this brand new E string, which comes from my soul. I don't like using it, but what I'm going to do is use it, and there it is there. Try to retrieve it, because what I'll do is I'll put that piece of wood through there, tie a knot on that end, and hopefully when I've done everything I can reuse the string again, because I'm cheap. So I'm going to drill a hole in that, put that through, tie a couple of knots in that end, and I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute. Okay. Compromise, compromise, compromise. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to salvage that string, unfortunately. Am I putting this on the right side? No, I'm not actually. Come on, up there. That has to go on the other side. Right, like that there. Okay. I was going to use a paintbrush as well, but because I got it on the wrong side, I have to use my wee finger. And I'm putting on a little bit thicker than I normally would do because I can't put any glue on the inside because I can't reach it. No, well, I could reach it with a lot of trouble, but I'm not going to go to a lot of trouble. Now you see the grain in the wood's running that way. When I pull this through, I don't care what way it sits in there when it comes up against the top. The only way I do care is I don't want it to be sitting with the grain, but it's pot luck. Right, there we go. Now, how do I keep it up there? I had a clever idea, but I've forgotten it. Right, yes I do know now. Now with the clamp, I'm going to let go of it now, because I can come back to it. With a clamp, hold both of those pieces of wood and the wire. Now the clamp's only there, I'm putting tension on it. The clamp's only there to hold the wire. Now, that piece of wood is going across both. And I have one other little thing I want to do. I need another clamp for it, but not one. Oh, there's the clamp that I want. The clamp that I want is there. Right. Now from my finger, I can tell that they're both level. There's tension on that. Now, pressing the wood up. I'm going to go in with my camera just to see what I can see, in the hope that it's where I want it. If it's anywhere close to where I want it, it's a success. Yes, you can see it there. And you can see somebody else has tried to put a little strip of wood across there, and it's been successful to hold that. But my little strip of wood is the one with the wire on it, and it looks like it's going to do the job. Fortunately, it's not sitting on the other strip of wood, but I'm going to have a quick look at the video to make sure. Glad I looked at the other piece of video, because it was actually sitting against the other strip of wood. And I had to squeeze my hand in there and move it, and then retighten it again. Let me just see if I can do anything with the brightness. Right. Yes, that's better now. Everything's sitting the way I want it. Right, okay. Anyway, we're ready now to rock and roll. 24 hours from now I'll come back to this. Right, it's only about 4 hours since I glued that, but I can't sit all night doing nothing. So I'm going to, remember I smoothed the sides down a bit because I felt the roughness of it. Well, there's a couple of frets now I've gone a little bit sharp on, well, there's one there. Might put some lacquer in there, but I might, before I do that, try to hide it in a way, but we'll see. Georgie girl was having great fun with that string all night, so let's have a look and see if we've achieved what we wanted to achieve. I'm hopeful. Do you want to have a look inside? You're not going to see anything if I take you inside, but now, how do I get rid of that? Will it push through? I wonder. Let me just see. Where are you? Oh, there you are. it is pushing through. So I should be able to put my hand in and grab it. Oh God, I got such tiny wee hands. Not a bit. Right, I got it. So there we go. I don't think I'm going to take a chance. Right, and we've got a pinhole there, but let's just see. Yeah, that's sealed up the movement. Do you want to look inside? You're not going to see anything more than what you saw before. But I like taking you inside the thing and letting you see around. There you go. Hopefully that's sitting nice and flat. Let me just see. Oh, I'm focusing on the wrong one. Right, okay. I'm taking too many. Come on, get in focus. That's it. Looks all grand to me. Right. Now, I'll not worry about that little pinhole at the moment. We'll do that again. So that's done. That's done. Those are all firm now. Right, there's something I'm not happy about. And I wanted to be happy about. But let's take you to the other end. I'll show you why I'm not happy. Can't take you right down the other end because I don't have a big enough bench. And the camera's not movable because I have it fixed. It's easier to work with. Fixed. Right, okay. Those are the things that came off it, and they were too wide. So when they go on, and they're not the right size holes either, but you see, that's the wrong way around. Pretend it's this one, right? They're too wide, they stick out the top and bottom. They do fairly well, but I don't like them sticking out the top and bottom. And you notice also in the inside that they're not quite straight, but that would do all right. But what I'm going to do, and I've just thought of this at the moment, what I wanted to do, I have some very special tuners here. These are brass with pink. I think they're lovely, and I rescued them particularly, and I wanted to put them on, but they're also the wrong size. Not just as much the wrong size, but they're very much the wrong size holes. Theoretically I could drill out the holes and use this, but I want to get the right size because that's very thin. So for the meantime, what I'm going to do is put them on, back on again, and screw them on, and I'm going to try to order some thinner ones. One of them slightly bent, and I hope that's not to get it in, so I have to straighten that up again. Let me just do that now. Okay. Now what you usually have, I've got it upside down, what you usually have with these is plastic. See, that's, I'm going to have to, because that's, when I push that in, that hole's not quite in the right place, and it's pushing it that way. So I'm going to have to widen that hole and widen that hole. Then let me look at the other side. I know it's not the right one, but let me just see, is it going to do the same thing? Let me just see. This is the one for the other side. Yeah, two of those are acceptable, but that last one's still not in the right hole, so the hole's going to have to be widened at the bottom. I'm not happy doing that. I'm not happy doing that. We're back at this again. I straightened them out as much as I can. What they had done to make them work was loosen the screws so the thing would twist instead of making the hole wider. And I did that on both sides. So what I'm going to have to do now is press the drill that way in the hope that I can get so looks like the router's coming out, and You can see I've used my little tool there. Just in case you're interested, this is my little homemade contraption for holding guitars upright in case I have to fix things like that you just saw. And it's just got some Velcro and it holds it. If it's a really heavy guitar I've got to do some work, I'll actually just screw it down to the bench. It won't do any harm. But it's very expensive. I charge £500 for those if you ever want to buy one from me. Plus £1,000 shipping. And I'm going to go down, and this is going to be handheld. And it's going to be noisy, so I'll maybe... Oh, Georgia girl's not going to like this. No, doesn't like it at all, but maybe she'll stay. She's up on her shelf. I broke the blade. Luckily I didn't damage that. Let me just see where we are. No, I think I have more blades, and this time I think I'll need a steadier hand. All that for something that I was hoping to be temporary. No, there you go. That's it, finished. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. That's no point in spending a whole pile of money on it. What I need to look at though is what the movement is in there. I may have to fill up the holes inside, put these in as templates, and then may even have to put a little sliver of wood along there, but let's see how we get along. Right, I'm just putting the screws in now, and I'm using brand new gold screws. Yeah, I don't know about that one. If these were better screws, I could force them into the hole and they would go in, but they're not great screws. So I'm going to have to drill them to get them in. Pause. Right, you can see the depth is over the edge. It's a little bit neater now over the edge because I've put them on straight, but there you go. Next thing to do is I'm going to look at the body again just to see if I'm going to clean it up. Maybe I might put a drop of lacquer on it. Maybe. Don't forget, this is not a restoration job. There's no value to this guitar, so complaining about putting a drop of lacquer on it is not going to make the slightest difference. But maybe I might do it. I don't know. We'll see. What I might just do is put some lacquer in the gaps. Just water-based lacquer. Let me just see if it's open. Oh, it is. It is open. So what I'm going to do, just put a little fingerful in there. It dries really hard, that stuff, that crystal lacquer. I'm very pleased with it. I would use it again and again. It's hard and durable, crystal clear, cross-link protection, whatever the hell that means, fast drying on a wide range of surfaces, exterior and interior, and it's water-based. Stain resistant, whatever the hell that means. Don't even think it's worth looking at. It's not even worth looking at. I'll do that when it's polishing. Alright. Okay, we've got a little issue here. The tailpiece has crushed that in a bit. The screw holes, as you can see, are slightly split, and there's a couple of dings on each side. Now the reason for that is that this is really cheap thin tin. It's got sharp edges on the inside, like that. It's cutting on the dings there. Now, I don't want to just stick it back on again, so what I'm going to do... Yes, you guessed it right. Yes, you guessed it right. I took it off and I found an older bridge that I have. It needs to be cleaned up. It will be cleaned up nice. And I'm going to just use the standard strings, even though I've already ordered. I've ordered a set of strings with ball ends on them. Well, it's okay. Might survive that. To drill a little hole a bit bigger. But it protects that edge a little bit better too, that stronger metal. Right, I'll come back to you when I've drilled that hole. Right, the hole's drilled and one screw is in. And I'm going to put the other screw in now at a slight angle. Oh, I've got the screws all mixed up. Right, I am not optimistic at all that this will do. This is not in place, it's not coloured, it's not thing. But what I'm going to do now, which should be exciting, is I'm going to try to bring it up to tune and see what explodes. So I'll come back to you when that's cleaned up, painted black and everything. It should be pretty easy to take off. Just leave the strings in tune because I haven't there. So I'm going to sand this down now and get it in tune. Right. Well, this is a little weird one. I'm not happy. Again, that's about the fourth time I said that when making this guitar. I don't like that. Too much of the guitar is taken up, so I took off the wings. Right, going to paint that black, but I don't like that because there's too much, still too much of the taken away from the guitar. So I'm going to do what I suggested at the very beginning. I'm going to slice right down the middle and just use the bridge part, paint that all black and set it up. Anyway, this turned out very nice. I love it. I've decided not to go and fix all the little dents and scratches just yet. I'm going to let this have time to settle in, but I think it's looking very nice. Also, I'm not going to do anything with that yet because I wouldn't be able to play the demo. So whenever I finish the maybe I should do it now. Yeah, all right, okay. Okay, I was lazy, so I went and polished them up a bit and touched them up a bit and made it look a little bit better. I think it's lazy because it was me, but I've spent so much time on this guitar, almost a week, getting it sorted out, that I'm become a little bit lazy. But I think this is lovely. I love the weight of it. I love the feel of it. And you'll like the sound of it. Wait till I tune it up again and I'll come back to you. Okay. It's a lovely little hollow sounding thing. Nice. It'll be a first 5, maybe 7 frets thing, you know, you can play. Because it's nylon, you don't have to put too much effort into it. I saw a classical guitar player the other day. He was brilliant, and the action was twice that. How do they do it? Huge action up there, and he's going diddly 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 dee. But this is not a bad action. It's lovely. I do like it, and I'm going to keep it because I like it. I had to move that down to get it in some sort of intonation, but I didn't go fussy too much on the intonation because I think it's just a little strumming guitar, you know, sort of Murray Robbins type. I told Mary about her, but at the same time it might help me play a little bit better if I practice on it. Nylon strings are easy things to work with. Anyway, the end piece, I'm going to do that. I'm going to leave that bit of felt there, but I will do the bit of plastic later on. And you notice in the crack there's some white. That's the polish going into the crack. Okay, one more, and I'll play my favorite chord on it. One more tune up. Now it says it's in perfect tune. Let's have a listen. I've already played you the little tune that I want you to tell me what it is like. Okay, it's back with its daddy and it's going to stay with its daddy now, and I'm happy. That was a very difficult guitar to get right. There was a lot of little problems with it that had to be creatively sorted, but I like it. Say goodbye to it. Say goodbye to it, I said. Thank you. Bye-bye.